I just wanted. I know that people have expressed interest in my Pigman work. I'm not crazy about selling it, to be honest, but people give me enough of an offer. I'm definitely willing to consider parting because, again, it's funny. I haven't been precious about my original art. It's it's raw material in the end. It really is. It's something that you know. The end result is what I'm interested in. The comic book, right? The comic book itself. That's what I'm interested in basically in the story. And if this kind of raw material can get me there, great, which it does. And I wasn't precious of it until I think someone bought one the other day, and I was like, you know what? I didn't want to part with it, but again, I can make some money off it, and I still have the scans of the original pencils and inks and colors and all that. So I just want to show you a number of my pages of Pigman, and anyone who wants to chime in, just let me know if you're interested. And again, for these pages, I can't go under 300. I know it sounds like a lot to some of you, but 350 is what I would normally sell them for anyway. So it's 50 less than that. But that's what I would sell it for, about 300, 350 if you offer that. Anyway, so here's some pages. This is when the jihadists are coming after him, and he has his parachute. And then the parachute is, if you notice, it's made to look like Captain America's shield. Another homage to Captain America. This is basically the second page of issue 1. I start off with a bang on the rooftop. And this is what we're dealing with there. 9/11, the morning of 9/11. And if you notice, I made the plane like a black bat out of hell. It's a silhouette. And the only light ones is lines to make it look like how fast it's going. From what I gathered, they were going 500 miles per hour, those lowlifes. So this is when he comes across Osama bin Laden. The first time. Osama bin Laden's first reaction is, I'll shoot, I swear, don't touch me. Thinking that's going to, hey, soldier traveling sea, thank you, appreciate it. Thanks, man, appreciate that. This is another moment. This is where Frank Warner, who ends up becoming Pigman, sees the horror firsthand. This is the thing that, of course, leads to him becoming Pigman. When the Americans had a choice, quote unquote, whether to die by fire or die by falling from the towers. Some of them chose that. I still get pissed off to this day when lowlifes say that they committed suicide. That was wrong what they did. They had no choice, you idiots. None at all. And I noted that what some of the eyewitnesses said at the time. I've read a number of books on what happened 9/11 on the ground. They said that those who dropped from the towers were not screaming. Those on the ground looking up at them were screaming. So I connect that with the end of Pigman #1. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. If not, you'll see. So that's Frank Warner, a.k.a. Pigman. At this point, he's only writing against jihad and Islam. He's writing books against it. He's the intellectual who basically has studied Islam to the death. He's ex-Muslim. But after he sees this kind of horror, he says, okay, I don't know if what I've been doing is enough. I think I got to get on the ground floor there. I think I got to get in those caves and do my damage also. I'll still continue my books, but I'm going to do some direct damage to these guys. He knows the enemy intimately also. He knows their language, literally. This is another page where Frank runs up to the towers. And if you notice, I designed the pages, the panels, as if they were the towers. And that's Muhammad, his foreign partner / friend, like his brother, because the story is about twins, Killian Duke and Salam Duca. And they break. It's basically me if I split myself in two. And if I became a recovered Muslim which is what I am, and the brother Killian, and then the born again Muslim, which is Salam. And Salam means peace. Not Islam means peace. Islam means submissions. Yep. Soldier traveling sea. I remember that. I remember the day I was 30. The impact to our collective psyche can't be overstated. It can't. And I think there was a real desire to not see the horror for what it was. A lot of us couldn't wait to mourn the loss instead of avenge the dead. We couldn't wait to mourn the loss. We couldn't wait to cry. We couldn't wait to, oh, that was a terrible, tragedy, as some actually called it. No. Wipe out the scum who did that. All those who supported them, those who funded them. Wipe the scum out, and then basically wipe those who sponsor terrorism across the world, from Iran to the Saudis. Those who did that, kill them, hunt them down, wipe them out. Make these terrorist states pay a price, a world historical price, and that means anything. Anything. I'm talking about nukes even at that point. What do we do after Japan attacked us? As soon as we got nukes, we nuked them. That's the response. We just have nukes for what now? It's like, no, you kill almost 3,000 Americans, you're going to get nuked. That should have been the answer. And then deal with the repercussions after the fact. No, that's what a moral power does, but we're not a moral power anymore. Anyway, so this is Salam and Flady 1. I just read Pigman number 1 to 3 last week. All I can say is wow, thank you. I really appreciate it. Again, I gotta say, with Comicsgate, it's the first time I think I'm getting real feedback from readers about my work, about Pigman, because I gotta say, prior to that, I don't know. Prior to that, people have kept it to themselves in a lot of ways. So I do my work. I try to make it as good as I possibly can, and I don't let it go until I know this is the best I can do. This is a story I want to tell, and I think it's good. And therefore, if people like it, awesome. That's a big plus. And everything I've been getting from Comicsgate, guys, I just appreciate the hell out of it. I appreciate your support and your kind words. Thank you so much. And Flady 1 says, yeah, he goes, he just read Pigman 1 to 3 last week, and all I can say is, wow, like South Park, no one is safe. So one is safe. No one's safe from blame or criticism from how things came to pass in our modern world. So I hope you continue the story. Flady 1, absolutely. This is a long time in the making. I've been doing this, Pigman, I created him not long after 9/11. I have 3 issues, 100 pages, right? I've done a lot of things in between. I was sidetracked by a 500-page project that went to hell. Now I have another 300-page project that's going. So when I'm done with that, I'm getting back to Pigman 4, 5, 6, and probably 7. So I think the entire thing will be over 200 pages. And when it's all said and done, it'll be collected in a pigskin leather-bound book. It'll be pigskin leather. It'll be Islam-proof, Muslim-proof in a lot of ways. Thanks, Salty. Appreciate it. You just ordered it. Flay says you will be impressed. We messed up after World War II, giving billions to Japan to rebuild. That's a thing, They were an enemy, a hardcore enemy. They were willing to do anything. Send their children, their women out to kill our soldiers. We should have been... Look, the fact is, one of them, a Japanese guy, an older guy, said, you know what he referred to as the nukes? He said he defined them as gifts from heaven. Flady 1. An old Japanese guy, he called the nukes gifts from heaven. Why? Because he said, we were on a suicidal course. We would never, ever, ever have stopped. Ever. Outside of those nukes. So I think the sentiment may have been shared by others as well. Because it's a horrific thing, to do that. But, what they did, just to sneak attack us the way they did. And again, that's what the Islamic world deserved as well. They absolutely did. So I think the fact that they're our ally, today, good. But anyone who says that those nukes were evil, anyone who says that we shouldn't have done that, like even Tucker Carlson, I think mentioned it recently, like it's evil. No, asshole. They slaughtered Americans, almost 3,000 then. And then Muslims did the same thing. That's why they called them Islamikazis. the scumbags on 9/11. They called them Islamikazis. Salty Traveling Sea said to Flatty one, he goes, well, in not prosecuting the atrocities in their POW camps against the Allies, true. Flatty one says ignorance and lack of foresight. Absolutely. They were brutal, the Japanese. Absolutely 100%. What they did to those prisoners, what they did to Chinese people, I mean, horrific. And again, that's why the one guy, that one voice, by the way, this is Pigman after he has a battle with Super Jihad and he took out the Kaaba. It's in there. They go nuts. Muslims just lose their shit. And they bury him under them. You know, you'll see what happens. This is another page. Pigman's running through the Al-Qaeda tunnels in the Hindu Kush, in that huge mountain range across from Afghanistan, going into Pakistan. I believe that's what it is. And this is my moment to give a little snapshot, a little, heads up to basically a little point of respect, a salute to Captain America, because Pigman finds this crescent, an Islamic shield, right? But it gives you a little idea what a Captain America shield is, and that's why I put him in silhouette there, as if it's Captain America fighting the Islamic enemy, which should have happened. And, they did a half-assed way where he did fight some of these guys, but it was, again, apologetic. I think Captain America apologized to them. They said, oh, America, you did this. No. You fly planes into buildings. I don't give a shit what happened to you. It doesn't matter what happened to you. You're evil. You're savages. You didn't fly them. You flew into the financial district of America. Yes, the Pentagon, that's a quote-unquote legitimate military target, right? The Twin Towers is a legitimate target? No, absolutely not. It's civilians. Every single last person in there. So this is when Pigman just goes after him, uses that shield against him, does some dirty work on them, and this is USS Cole. Absolutely. They kept hitting us over and over again, and there was an FBI agent named John O'Neill who I based Pigman a little on in his secret identity. A big guy, burly guy, black hair, slick back. He was hunting Bin Laden before anyone knew who Bin Laden was in the 90s. He knew that guy's going to do something big, right? And he was chasing him down for years, and he had a falling out with the FBI. I read the books. It's a personal issue dealing with some stuff that wasn't good about him in his personal life, but he was a great agent. Where did he end up on 9/11? He was chief of security at the Twin Towers. He ended up dying in an attack by the guy who he was hunting down for years, about a decade at that point. It's shocking, but it's true. It's unbelievable. And the day before, I think a friend of his said that they were having lunch, and he said something big is happening, something big is coming, because they got the chatter, they know. They watch these guys, and I'm not going to say our government let it happen, not to the extent that it did, but let's just say that every time one of these scumbags pulls off something, even on an individual attack like a one guy going to a mall, you always find out that the FBI knew of them. So come on, guys, you got to stop these guys. You're here to protect us, not to protect your ass or the government or whatever. You got to protect us. Yep, USS Liberty, USS Cole. Again, those tunnels were designed by Americans with our tax dollars to later used against us. We will ever learn. Only time will tell, but I don't have high hopes. I know. I mean, we are forced to fund our enemies by our tax dollars. Our corrupt government takes our money, gives it to our enemies, gives it to quote-unquote Palestine, to Hamas, to Hezbollah, to Iran, to Saudi Arabia. They do that, and then we pay the price for it. And then what do? Did they make them pay? No, they don't make them pay. It's a first, I think, scene. Yeah, the first page of Pigman in action in the actual comic of Pigman #1. And if you see the design here, it's an X basically. It's like it's made from here to there, like an X. Whereas the jihadists are big, right? And Pigman's small, but the bigger he gets, the smaller they get. visually, of course, and it's just the way that perspective is. But I want to say that the bigger he gets, the closer he gets, the smaller and they get. They're small to begin with, these rats. They become even smaller. And then you see a close-up of him. And you see a little hint of his eyes. A little hint. And it's black and white, right? But I use also a little gray wash there. I diluted the inks a little, just to get a little more detail in there. And he uses these guys as a bulletproof vest, their bodies. Because the guy screams out, Allahu Akbar. He's like, I got him. There's also scenes like this, like Killian Duke, my stand-in, basically. He's my stand-in. And he is talking to his Muslim friend, Ahmed. And he knows that his Muslim friend is not that Muslim, he knows that. And he's roasting him a little for it. Because he tells him here, as he says, he goes, you do know that behind Islam's hatred of women is love of men, which makes Islam pretty gay. It's a funny line, and he's roasting his boy, because his friend says, Killian, what am I supposed to say to something like that? He goes, nothing. You're supposed to do something about it, like any true Muslim would. He's right about that. If you quote unquote insult Islam, right, you got to pay a price for it. So he's testing his friend also. Hey, show. Thanks for being here. Fleet 81, Salty Traveling Sea show. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for chiming in. If anyone's interested in offering anything for his work, again, I'm not crazy about getting. It's funny. Just after I got done with talking about how I'm not precious about my original art, I am and I'm not at the same time. It's raw material in the end. The end result is that it's a comic book story. That's my art. That's why I do it. And if I can make an extra buck, to sell the originals, and someone really wants them, great. But I can't go under 300 for these. Not for these pages. For individual Muhammad cartoons, sure. But for these pages, if anyone's interested, let me know. Salty Traveling Sea asks, off-topic question, if you could create a one-shot with one public domain character, who would it be? I'd love to see a Sherlock Holmes book from me. Man, Sherlock Holmes would be great. Tarzan. Would love that as well. Love apes, love drawing them, love gorillas, and King Kong and on. And man, thanks. Yeah. Toth Cafe, Alex Toth, the great Alex Toth. It was an agent of mine said, are you sure you're going to put that in? He might be a suit. I said, would I be sued? I don't know. I mean, okay, sue me. I'll make it a story, It's like, all right. Toth's heirs sued me for this. But yeah, Sherlock Holmes would be great. Thanks. Yeah, that's the Alex Toth Cafe. The Toth Cafe. Again, I've, early on, it was John Romita Jr., loved his work. John Buscema, of course, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, John Byrne, Frank Miller, all these guys, right? And after all that, John Romita Sr., after all that, I discovered Toth. And, and you find out that from Toth is a through line, right? It's from there to, from Toth, you have John Romita Sr., who was influenced by Toth, and someone that influenced Toth, Milton Caniff, right? And then you have Noel Sickles, who Romita, and also, so it's a whole mix. People who were influenced by those, or influenced by those, and so on. And so I discovered Toth later on, after I'd read all these comics, all these greats, right? And I was like, wow, this guy is the greatest. And I will take that argument to anyone. I have a series. Check out my series on Toth. I think I'm up to part 11 right now. It'll be probably, I don't know, it could be up to 18, as I just mentioned on the show I was on. The Toth, the Alex Toth. I'm glad you guys recognize Toth. I got to say, because part of me is, in doing this series, I want to introduce Toth to a younger audience who don't know about him. Because sometimes you hear that. Toth is just a name, isn't it? Why would you be sued? Yeah, I know. But it's because, I don't know. It was my agent. Maybe he deals with suits. Who knows? Torchbearer Studio says, your influences shine through, but in a very original, non-AP. You know what? I really, really appreciate that, because it's true. Though my influences are, Alex Toth, John Romita, Sr., Jr., Frank Miller, all these, right? And you could see elements of it, sure. But I'm glad you don't think, oh, he's just aping them. I'm not. I don't intend to. I'm influenced by them openly, absolutely. Without Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, Pigman wouldn't exist. Not the way he does. Not as big as he is. Not as, as ruthless as he is. Even though, Pigman kills these guys, whereas Batman, it's always up in the air what happened to the Joker in there, right? Joker ended up killing himself, technically speaking, and all that. Whatever. They had to go around that because of the quote-unquote no-kill rule, right? But Pigman does kill these guys, and he does it with his bare hands a lot of the time. But yeah, I appreciate that because, again, you cannot help but you have your influences naturally, right? You learn how to draw. You're not learning how to draw like Alex Toth or like these guys. You're just learning how to draw. That's what you do. And what you lay down in the end will look like it could allude to them. It could, give little hints of them to some extent. But if you're being honest, it'll look like you. It'll be original regardless. It'll look like what your work is, regardless of your influences. Yeah. Definitely show. Yeah, the big guy, Pigman, definitely very Dark Knight Returns. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. I mean, look at him. And that had a major impact on me as a writer-artist. Because, again, I love these artists, right? And I love writers. But then you got a guy like Frank Miller who's even better writer than he is artist. At least back then, Daredevil Born Again, arguably his best writing, hands down. And Mazzucchelli, I mean, think about where Mazzucchelli was. And Mazzucchelli was a damn good artist, of course. But he went from being a good artist, Daredevil, to being an all-time great. Daredevil Born Again, and then Batman Year One, and then his Rubber Blankets, and then, The City of Glass, a graphic novel, and then Asterios Polyp. I mean, this guy's an all-time great. But Miller, man, he was just, as a writer-artist, he was a storyteller first and foremost. That's what he was. He wasn't necessarily a great artist per se. He had moments, clearly. And when he busted his ass, he was really good. But you could tell when he didn't bust his ass with his art. But his storytelling for most of the time was great. The way he designed the panels and the way he told the story, and literally the words, of course. The plot, the characterization, everything about it. So, and then this is, if you saw it before, it was the image of the Americans who were falling from the towers. And then Pigman comes across Osama bin Laden. It is all technology, yes. Pigman's powers are all technology. There's no magic. There's no superhero. He wasn't bit by a radioactive pig, It's all technology. It's all about one man deciding, okay, I've been writing against Islamic Jihad for years. 9/11 hits. He sees the horror firsthand. He sees people falling from towers. He sees the disgusting attack and decides, okay, I got to do this. But as the story progresses, you see that his power gets amped up, like each issue. It's a bulletproof suit, and it's pigskin leather, right? As he says, it's he exploits the Islamic enemy's bigotry. It's pigskin leather, and he's very strong. He has souped up his own power, right? All the circuitry that he built in there inside the suit. He's him and Super Jihad, they're very, very smart. Let's just say that. On one end, you could say Super Jihad is a little smarter than him because he gets to fly before him, and it's like, shit. That's why Pigman's like, if he can fly. So by the time Pigman flies, that's when they get equal power. But still, there's a little, it really is. Torchbearer Studios. I mean, Asterios Polyp by Dave Mazzucchelli. It's just like, that was his first time he ever wrote, penciled, inked, lettered, colored an entire graphic novel from start to finish, over 300 pages. Think about that. It's almost 30 years after the fact. Almost 30 years after Batman Year One. It's crazy. It's hard to believe. But man, what a tour de force. It's just a master at his craft. And it's so different than anything he's done before. The design work, the storytelling, the individual, fonts for every single character. Every single character has a different font. That's a committed cartoonist right there, Dave Mazzucchelli. That's why, he didn't do as much work as some of his contemporaries, but he's right there. He's right there with Toth and, Miller at his best. And Buscema and Kirby and Ditko. He's right there. He's a master, Dave Mazzucchelli. And Toth even sent Dave Mazzucchelli a fan letter in the pages of Batman Year One. I think it was issue 407, I think the third issue, because people were telling Toth that, hey, this guy seems like he is drawn like you. I mean, I don't know how they put it to him, but they said that he's basically not swiping him because the guy was a great artist in his own right, and but he wrote a fan letter to Dave Mazzucchelli, Alex Toth, to say wow, and he was impressed with him. You know, he loved his stuff, and I believe in the new collection, oversized hardcover, 14 by 21, I believe, which is the size of the pages I'm doing now for my current story. These pages are a little smaller than that. But my current story is 14 by 21 for a book that will end up being 8 by 14. It's taller, a nice chunk taller than your average book, and there's a reason why, and you'll know when I announce it. But, what was I getting at? Okay. In the new collection, the artist edition of Batman Year One, black and white version, where you see all the minor details, all the whiteout, all the beautiful rich inks and all that, which I haven't gotten yet, which I will get soon. He addresses Toth in there. And I don't know what capacity. Maybe people were telling him that he was copying off Toth or something. I don't think he was. Again, he was a master in his own right. Maybe it was the final look of the art where he used, it seemed like at least, a pen or a brush to some. Can you say what? I announced it on one of the shows. It's The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. That's what I've been working on for the last year and a half. It'll be announced at a certain point, but it's something that, it's funny. Talk about custom made, talk about something that I've been dreaming of doing ever since I was a kid. You know, it's like, I dreamed of doing an animated adaptation, right? Why? I don't know. I'm not an animator. I have no ambition to be an animator. But the reason why I think I thought about The Fountainhead as an animated movie was because it's so alive. You know, the book is so living and breathing that I thought no human actors could fulfill the look of the characters the way Ayn Rand described them. The romantic quality with how she described them. I showed some. Look at my first live stream. Check it out. Look at my first live stream. It was about an hour and a half, I think. I showed little images from it. So check it out. Check it out. I didn't explain what it was. I was alluding to it. I was telling people. I didn't show too much, but you can, if you know, you know. And if you see something, you might be able to say, okay, I think that's what it is. But yeah, so that's something that I'm currently working on. But I can't talk about it too much because, again, it'll be announced officially at a certain point. So yeah, check out my first live stream. I showed some images from it. So again, if anyone's interested in getting my original art, I have this. I have Table for One as well. Table for One is 14 by 17 the pages. It's a little wider than your average comic book page. That's why the book itself is a little wider. And this is a pretty general size here for Pigman. I'm going to go through the pages one more time. Yes, there was. It's a long story show, and it's something that's gets to the personal, so therefore I can't discuss it, at least now. It'll be part of my story at a certain point, and I've been told to write some kind of memoir. Who knows? Never really interested me, but there's a lot to say about what's gone on in my life in the last 10 years, so maybe. And if so, I'll definitely cover it there at some point. The whys and what for. Why that project died. Thanks, Flatty. Appreciate it. It's my first book, you know. It has a special place for me. It really does. And it's also interesting, right? First book entering this field that I love, right? What do? Do I make a superhero comic? No. I make a story that takes place one night in an underground restaurant in Manhattan. Why? Because it was something that I understood pretty intimately, the restaurant business. And the society of the restaurant world, I think you can have a lot of different characters, colorful characters, and lowlifes, and good guys, and whatnot. It's like its own little world. So I said, I can do that. I can have the villain. Basically, he was a composite of all my bosses I've had. Some of them were good, but a lot of them were assholes. So I put them all together into a big, monstrous Hulk, you know, of a character. And I put the trials and tribulations of an artist, of a writer, having to work on a side job, unhappily, but it pays the bills, right? He doesn't want to pay the bills with his art necessarily. He doesn't want to produce shit work, and just for a buck, he wants to keep that. And yeah, maybe, I'd love to make a living, doing this. Well, I do make a living doing this, but what I'm saying is, Will in the story, he'd love to do that full time, but he can't at that point. So he has to work as a waiter. So I thought that was a good way of introduce myself to the field. Alex Toth loved it. He wrote me those incredible cards, incredible postcards with his flat out inimitable lettering. Excuse me. His writing was just perfect. Yeah, absolutely salty traveling. So yeah, it's a crazy business. It really is. It's a dirty business in a lot of ways. It's very profane also. As soon as you walk through the back door, these guys are going off on all their stories, and it's wild. Deal with a lot of people, and I'm not a people person, so that was particularly difficult to me. I got to say, I'm a loner. Right in back, right. I walk through a crowded room, not a soul in sight. Sometimes I felt like that. You got this masses of people, and the more people you get, the less individuals you have. Meaning, yeah, they're individuals, but everyone's trying to play up to everyone else. Everyone's trying to act. Everyone's trying to impress other people and talking. And, it's not a one-on-one conversation, let's just say. Torchbearer suits. I got written up at the Olive Garden for drawing figures on the comment cards while I was waiting tables and going to art college. Cool. Very, very cool. I used to do it as well. I used to write little some story notes, especially when I knew that I was going to do a story that takes place in a restaurant. Yes. Show Fountainhead would also be nice, but I saw you made a real nice Frisco piece for Kirk Wilcox. Yeah, it was awesome. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah. That's what those cards are for, absolutely. That's what I saw them for. I used to doodle, and I used to put little notes and little scenes, little dialogue things. And again, I had so many things to work with, and I cut a lot, too. The book's about 80 pages. I think it was just as long as it needed to be to tell that particular story. It was fun. So yeah, I'm just going through these last pages here. If anyone's interested in my original art, you can BoschFawson.com. You can go to the post for it. You got to scroll down a bit, and it says original art, right? You can order it and then tell me which pages. I'm missing one page from Pigman, 2 pages from Table for One. Again, I sell original art, but usually it's individual cartoons. But I'm willing to sell these, but again, not for a cheap price. I mean, $300, $350. That's as low as I want to go. I've sold art for thousands of dollars. I mean, thousands, $2,000, $10,000. I've sold art for a lot, but these pages, I get it. People want the art, and they want to be somewhat affordable, but I can't go under 300. I really can't. 350 is what I'm pretty comfortable with. So yeah, this is. I just want to go through these, and then I'm going to cut off this live stream. But thanks for being here, everyone. I do appreciate the interaction because it's just impromptu. So very, very cool. Thanks for the engagement. I really appreciate it. Flady One writes, I wrote a similar line for a poem in college about strip clubs. The patrons go to them, shed their clothes, but all they see is them shedding their souls. Yeah. I mean, hey, that must be tough, man. I mean, it really is. It's a desperate thing for those young ladies to do, and no doubt is. I went to a go-go bar once in order to get the boyfriend of my girlfriend's friend's boyfriend to get in there. I had no interest in doing that. Couldn't care less for that. I'm not a prude, but I just think it's, I don't know. It's pretty low. It really is. The entire thing. It's pretty sad. But this is Frank Warner, who becomes Pigman. This is before he becomes Pigman on 9/11. Running to the towers. His wife works in that building. She works in the World Trade Center, and he's desperate to find out what happens here. And again, this page, and that page, and this. I did it so long ago that it's okay. Here's the here's the page, right? 9/11, and later in the thing, Pigman says, "We scream, they don't." Right, about those who are dropping. Those on the ground are screaming, as seeing the horror of Americans dropping to their deaths. Right, and then a while later, when he becomes Pigman, he takes Osama bin Laden at the edge of a cliff, throws him off, and he says he screams and screams and screams. That scumbag had a long fall to his death. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got that. America. Fuck yeah. Here it is. Yes. Here it is. Funny. Pigman's trying to escape these savages. They corner him on a cliff, and they're suicide bombers, and he saves himself. I don't want to give away too much, but there's a moment there where he goes, America, fuck yeah, like Team America, World Police. But, of course, it's covered up by Allahu Akbar. And they blow him out of the sky. And also there's that moment where the two brothers, the twins, one brother is trying to force the other brother to do the Shahada, right? He's trying to do the declaration of faith, where if you say there is no God but Allah and Muhammad was a messenger, you're a Muslim. Oh shit, I just became Muslim. Oh shit. That's the idea, right? If you say there is no God but Allah and Muhammad was a messenger, all of a sudden you become Muslim. Sure, right. Anyway, so there's a scene in issue 2 where his brother Salam, peace, tells him, you only think you left Islam, but Islam will never, ever leave you, right? Never, ever leave you. And by that, he's warning him, he's threatening him. And then he tries to force him to say the Shahada, to return to Islam and say the declaration of faith, even though he knows he's an atheist. He left Islam a while back. And so he says, there is no God. And he stops there. It's supposed to be, there is no God but Allah. He goes, there is no God. And he goes, finish it. He goes, there is no God, and Muhammad was not a messenger. And his brother just slaps him, boom. And then he goes, okay. And then he says, okay. He goes, what was it? Muhammad Allah Jihad, Sherpa Sherpa Bakalah. It was that line from Team America World Police. What was it? You know what? 1 second. I could find it here. 1 second. It's so funny. I forgot the actual exact wording. Let me look at it here. I could find the exact wording. 1 second, guys. Thanks for being there, by the way. It was, again, impromptu, short notice, so I really appreciate it. And again, if you're interested, I do sell my original art. Pigman, Table for One. And, the other things that didn't come to pass, that one project, even though the new project as well. If you're interested, if you want to get some dibs on certain scenes, you can let me know. So here it is. Here's what he says. Killian to Salam. Okay. So after he rejects the declaration of faith, he mocks it. He says, finish it. He goes, there is no God and Muhammad was not a prophet. So Salam slaps him. And then Killian tells him, if this was one-on-one, like it was on 9/11, because they literally, he literally kicked his brother out of his apartment, out of their shared apartment, because he celebrated the atrocity of 9/11. He burst out screaming, Allahu Akbar, screaming. And he was laughing also at one point. And that was it. That's where their brotherhood was over. And then Salam tells him, you actually believe you're the good guy. And from his perspective, he actually believes that. He's like, he subjectively thinks that Killian is the bad guy. And Killian objectively knows that Salam is a bad guy. So he goes, you actually believe you're the good guy. He goes, listen, if you don't submit now, you will never be safe again. So Killian looks down and he goes, okay. And you look at Salam, almost hopeful for a split second. And then Killian says, Durka Durka, Muhammad Allah, Jihad, Haka Sherpa Sherpa Bakalah. It was that ridiculous thing that they said in Team America World Police. It's funny. If I get a laugh from something, usually the readers do as well. So I think some people got a kick out of it. Because, again, if I get a kick out of something, I think you guys will as well. I just do. Like this, for instance. Like this page, right? Where, 1 second. It's the edge of a cliff. It's a cliffhanger, a literal cliffhanger, issue 1. Call me literal? Yeah, I am. It's a literal cliffhanger. So he jumps off, right? And he has this pig gun, as he calls it, to have a grappling, right? To have like a grappling wire so he can actually climb back. And he goes, madmen, misogynists dying and killing for 72 women, quote unquote. He goes, only in Islam. These guys hate women, treat them like shit, right? They see them as they can give birth to boys. That's their great value to these men, right? And what are they dying for? What are they killing for? For 72 women. You know, it's ludicrous. So I'm going to read a few more of your comments and then I'm going to get going. We all got things to do, right? So let's see. Durka, Muhammad Allah Jihad, Sherpa Bakala. That's just hilarious to me. Islam, a part of you that you remember. That's the thing, Show. I was a sincere Muslim at one point. I was a kid, right? I didn't understand the Quran stuff, but when I went to mosque, I took it seriously. I was like, okay, this is a serious thing, right? It's a holy place, right? We're supposed to go here, and we were the Albanians, so we were considered the white Muslims, you know, who were not as respected, I believe. I believe there's a racism within Islam from Arabs and blacks. I just do. Anyway, so we're there, and we're following the Imam, who's an Arab, who's speaking in Arabic, right? We don't understand him. We're just following his moves. Like, okay, we got to do this. Allahu Akbar. Right? And while this is happening, you got some of my cousins farting in the back. And I got pissed. I'm like, this is not good, man. What the hell? It's supposed to be a serious thing here. Looking back, I think they gave it the respect it deserved, as I often say. But, you know, I was pissed off. So, in that sense, I had this one moment, a flashback to the twins when they're young, where an imam takes Salam under his wing and starts talking to him because he knows he's pretty serious, right? And the father of the twins is looking on, and he don't like it. You know, he don't like it at all. He's Muslim, technically speaking, but he don't like the fact that maybe his son might take this shit seriously. And there's a ride back home where they discuss it a little. Something to do with issue 4 or 5. There's a flashback scene. So yeah, there's that little part of me that took it seriously, that was pissed off at these guys farting in the mosque. I could attribute that to, yeah, that's a part of Salam. And I did have to leave Islam at a certain point in my mid-teens, right? It wasn't a hard break, as I tell everyone. It wasn't some horrific thing. It was just the fact of the fundamental dishonesty. The fundamental dishonesty of the religion and those around it and those around me. And when I asked them questions about the religion, I don't think they knew what they were talking about. That's going to be 500, as in bucks. Sure, why not? That's the thing, you know. It's like I sell recreations in my Winnie Mama cartoon for 500 bucks. I think it's worth it. I mean, look, I almost died for that, right? You guys, he said limited by 20. There were 8 left. 8 left. I redraw the thing and I basically sign it and number it. So it's an exclusive, only 20. You know, there are 12 that are gone. If anyone's interested, it's a lot of money, 500, but it's 20 of a kind. I mean, that's it. There's no more after this. So you can go on my bossfawson.com, order original art, or you can order that. Or again, my comics and my books. Again, 6 books. I have 2 books on peaceful death threats, all the death threats I've gotten. Not all of them, actually. I have a whole file. I mean, I don't know how many more. I could do a few more volumes of those. Collected all the death threats and drew Muhammad cartoons and published them against them. But you go to my website, bossfawson.com, get my books, get my Muhammad playing cards, trading cards, prints. Yeah, check it out. So, thanks, Shannon SL3311. Great stream. I'm going to save a few bucks for one of those for sure. 350 is a steal. Hey, man, you know what? I would be comfortable letting go for that. I would. It's like, okay. Because, again, I'm not precious about my original art. To me, the whole point is to tell these stories and have them out there in book form. So, it's raw material. You know, I get a little about Pigman, something about it. It's like, that's my boy. And if I can sell it for a nice amount, I can let go of it easily. I'm like, okay. I have the scans of all the pencils and inks and all that. I can even make prints of those, if I have to, if I feel it one day, if I miss them enough, right? But if people want them, hey, they're yours if you want to pay for it. Absolutely. You might value it. You might value the actual original art more than I do, because again, to me, it's telling this story. That's what you go towards. That's the whole point of it, right? It's not original art for its own sake. No. It's getting to that story. You should copy and paste the link to your website and add it in the description of these videos. Yes, I absolutely should. Definitely, thanks. Definitely should have done that. I don't know if I could do it retroactively. I probably can't. But definitely will. Again, BoschFawcett.com. Visit, check it out, go to the store. I have a blog, a few of my essays in there. I have the main page and I have the store. And I always add new material, always. I have a new print on there as well. If you have time, can you share where you were when you learned about 9/11? Yes, Torchbearer Studios. I was in New York the night before, going to School of Visual Arts in Manhattan, and I remember walking every single time seeing the Twin Towers. Every single time taking the train, seeing the Twin Towers. Right, always there, and I can't remember if I looked at it that night or not. As far as I know, I took it for granted maybe after a certain time, right? You're in the city, you just want to get to school. But it was always in this little area where I can see them clear as day. I may have looked, but I can't say for sure because it was raining like hell that night. I know that. And if you think about the day of 9/11, how beautiful it was, how clear it was. Well, it unloaded a whole bunch of rain to get to that clarity. So that happened. And then next day, I got a phone call. Told to put on the TV. And I saw the horror live. And then my brother called me as well. And as we're talking, one of the towers collapses. And we both scream out. Why do we scream out? Because we knew at that point thousands of Americans were being slaughtered. Thousands. And again, someone here was mentioning the idea where, I think we had to tell ourselves certain things that day to keep it together, right? Because that's something we never witnessed before as Americans. That kind of horror, that kind of madness coming into our shores. Flying planes at top speed into buildings full of people. It's evil. And it is as much, as I say in my article, is as much an act of war as it is an act of faith. And that's why when people tell me Islam is not a religion, these people believe that they're flying into paradise, okay? Don't tell me it's not a religion. They believe that they were flying into paradise as an act of faith. However evil, you want to think all religions are good? No, that's not true. You know that. This one is surely evil. So it's irrational that led them to take that plane and fly into buildings at top speed. It's just, anyway. So, I spent my free cash last night for Inglorious Rex 3. Absolutely. Look, man, I got to get those as well. I want to get issue 1 of that and Godlike. I got from Mike Barron. I got Nexus, Scourge. I got Cyberfrog. I'm starting to, and I also got the Dino King, which I can't wait to read. And some good stuff, man. And it's like I've been out of the loop. I gotta say, I don't know. I mean, I've been such a loner. I've been in such a wilderness that I didn't know that this entire thing was going on. But here we are, right? Hey, that's life. I want to check it all out. But we'll hit up your site for some stuff in the near future. Thanks, Flatey. Appreciate it. Maybe Google how to make someone in your chat a moderator so someone you trust in the chat can add links to your website in the chat. I guess so. To me, it's I'm so used to being a one-man show. I write pencil, ink, letter, color, publish, and ship out my stuff, right? I don't know. That's what I know. It's like every line is mine. Everything I do is by myself. So I guess my own channel as well. But we'll see. If I might need it at a certain point. I'm slowly growing my channel, but we'll see. Islam party, yeah, I answered that. Durka, absolutely. Burka, haha. Saw the trailer. Make me or someone else a mod so we can post links to your store and comics. Just click on the right side of the chat. You'll see 3 dots. Pick a mod. Okay, 1 second. Now, I'm using something called Ecamm. I don't see that here. I guess if I'm on YouTube, I can do that at a certain point. But thanks. I got to keep these things in mind. If you make it better for everyone, absolutely. Okay. I will definitely consider that at a certain point. I've done only a handful of live streams so far. Most of my videos have been pre-recorded about Alex Toth, about John Romita Jr., Spider-Man, about Frank Miller's Holy Terror, Daredevil 181, and a few more things. Thanks, Martin. Appreciate it. Glad you're here. Thanks, man. Flady1 says, I highly recommend people read a pre-Schofield Bible, the Quran, Torah, and Talmud if you truly want to understand Western society. Yep. Pigman special. Thanks, Show. Killing you too. Appreciate that. Hey, man, that's my creations. I love them. I really do. Torchbearer says, I was in Sam's Club, stopped shopping for diapers with my pregnant wife, and I walked through the widescreen TV section. It was on every screen. It was surreal. Oh, are you talking about 9/11? Oh, if so, wow. Wow. That's one way to experience it. Oof. Just read Downer King last night, Flady one says. Hey, man, I just looked good from what I saw, and EBS was really effusive about it, so that's awesome. Okay, it's on YouTube. I get it. You know what? I guess I'll, you know what? Let me pull it up 1 second. Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate it. Martin. Thanks for being here. And again, everyone, if you're interested in getting my art, the way right now is really just to go on my website, boschfawson.com, scroll down, a ways down, and you'll see original art for sale. And again, you can ask me what page is available. I only have a few pages gone from Pigman and 204, and I have the bulk of them. So it's a few hundred pages right there, over 200 pages, because I have some extras here and your covers. I have check it out. So thanks for being there, everyone. I do appreciate it. If you have any last questions, please shoot. As you do that, I'm going to go here on YouTube and see about the mod situation. Let's see. If I pull this up.
Thanks for being here, everyone.
I got to turn that down, of course. Okay. The 3 dots. It says report there, huh? It says reports. Interesting. Okay. It's also, I got it on 3 different things, right? I have it on, I have this on Twitter, on X, on Facebook, and on YouTube simultaneously. So it seems like the only ones commenting, though, are on YouTube. I guess Twitter doesn't have that capability to have comments. I thought it's possible that they can get all linked, but I guess not. Toshiro, hail Pigman, absolutely. Hail Comicsgate. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for being here, everyone. Again, I really appreciate it because it's like just short notice, impromptu thing. I just put up. I just did an interview on a show, so I say, hey, while I have this whole thing here, why not just set it up and talk about it? All right, guys. Flady1 says, great show, man. Love your work. Stay safe and keep writing and drawing. The world needs your art. Much appreciated, man. Thank you so much. Thanks, show. Appreciate it, guys. So again, check out my store, boschfawson.com. You get any prints, Muhammad playing cards, trading cards, my Pigman comics, my Table for One comic. And for those overseas, I do have the digital PDF option for my comics. Overseas shipping is out of control. It wasn't great always, but my God, we're talking about $30 sometimes to ship out some books. It's more than the products, more than the actual book itself. It's just crazy. So if you guys are interested, you can get that as well. You can download PDFs and digital versions of my comics, both Table for One and Pigman. And maybe one day, if there's demand, my Muhammad books. YouTube is censoring comics. Prophet Muhammad says, I believe they probably might be. I believe they might be. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. So again, if you're interested in owning my original art, such as this, when Pigman finally confronts Osama bin Laden, you can order it at my website, boxfalls.com. Scroll down a bit to find original art, and then pay for it, and then email me, message me, wherever you can. I want that particular page, and so on. And we'll get it done. Thanks for being here, guys. Really appreciate it. And you take care. And again, check out my channel. If you could subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I want to shoot up my numbers and also watch hours. I want to get that so I can get some super chats when I do live streams as well. And check out my videos on Alex Hoth. I have 11 so far. I'm going to have a lot more. I'm going through the stages of basically describing his thinking, his process, what he thinks about art from his interviews, and also retrospectives on him. And then I'll get into the art. I mean, I got a new stand for my camera as well, which we'll go over, because right now I had a pretty makeshift one, but this one will cover the entire book because some of these books are big. So, thanks, guys. So, okay, cool. Thanks, Martin. You commented on Twitter. Great. We will talk how you could sell digital. Yes, excellent. Torchbearer Studios, thanks. Appreciate it. Take care, guys. Dennis. And this was the largest impromptu stream I had with a lot of people chiming in. Really, really appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot. So last thing again, if you like my original art, if you want it, boxfalls.com, scroll down original arts section, and we'll go from there. We'll communicate which page you might want. Take care, be well, and we'll see you soon. Hail Comicsgate, everyone. Thanks, man. Take care. Be well.